Most people don't stay stuck because they're afraid of change. They stay because staying the same is quietly comforting. Not comforting in a happy way, comforting in a known way. The kind that hurts, but predictably. It feels like a familiar tension you've learned how to live inside. A low-grade dissatisfaction that never quite crosses into urgency. A life that feels tight but recognizable. This happens when the nervous system learns that familiarity is safer than uncertainty, even when familiarity includes pain. This isn't laziness. It's an adaptation that learned how to survive without asking for more. And once you see this, you start to realize something unsettling. The hardest part of change isn't effort. It's giving up the comfort of what you already know how to endure. From the outside, this pattern often looks like resistance, procrastination, indecision. But internally, it's not a refusal to move forward. It's a quiet allegiance to what feels familiar enough to survive. There's a type of person who doesn't hate their life. They just don't feel fully alive inside it. They can function, they can show up, they can even imagine a different future. But when it comes time to act, something subtle happens. They hesitate, not because they don't want more, but because more is undefined. Their current discomfort has rules. They know how it behaves. They know how much it asks of them. There's a strange safety in that. They complain, but not enough to leave. They dream, but not enough to disrupt what's working well enough. What keeps them in place isn't fear of failure. It's loyalty to a familiar version of themselves. Their body recognizes the current pattern. It knows where the edges are. It knows how to brace. Change would require learning new sensations, new risks, new forms of uncertainty. And that feels bigger than staying slightly unsatisfied. The nervous system doesn't prioritize happiness. It prioritizes predictability. Once a pattern becomes familiar, even a painful one, it becomes regulated. The body knows what's coming. The mind knows how to cope. Staying the same reduces cognitive load. No recalibration, no new decisions, no identity disruption. Change, on the other hand, demands something destabilizing. Learning who you are without the old constraints. And that requires tolerating a temporary loss of orientation. So the system chooses what it knows how to manage over what it doesn't yet know how to survive. This isn't a conscious decision. It's a regulatory one. Here's the paradox. The longer someone stays in a familiar pattern, the more expensive leaving becomes. Not practically, existentially, because the pattern doesn't just organize behavior, it organizes identity. It answers quiet questions like, who am I allowed to be? What do I expect from life? What disappointments feel normal? Staying the same protects those answers. Change threatens them. And this is why people often wait until something breaks. A relationship, a body, a sense of meaning. Not because they couldn't leave sooner, but because staying the same kept them psychologically intact until it didn't. What looks like avoidance is often preservation. What looks like stagnation is often containment. And what looks like fear of change is often grief for the self that would no longer make sense if change occurred. Staying the same isn't passive. It's an active choice the nervous system makes to remain coherent. And recognizing that doesn't mean you have to change or decide anything yet. But once you see the comfort embedded in your stagnation, the story of I just can't stops being fully convincing. Because what's really happening isn't a lack of desire for more. It's a deep familiarity with what you already know how to survive. And whatever comes next, will require letting go of that familiarity before anything new can take its place.